Today, I'm Dusty Hardister, by the way, if you haven't seen us before. Once a month, we do a class here at the library called Life Hacks. Today, we're doing veggies. I thought it would be a really good way, a good summer recipe, a good way to have your veggies, since veggies are so plentiful in the summertime. We're using a few that you may have growing in your garden here in Oklahoma, and then you can get pretty much anything now at the grocery store. Today we're just going to use some of my favorites and some of the ones that I already had on hand. We'll go over a few different ones that you can use if you have those in your crisper, or if you just like some different ones. This is going to be a summer veggie stir fry. Very easy, kind of a quick dinner or lunch that you can have in the summer. It's not too hot, doesn't heat up your kitchen, and it's a good way to use your veggies, like I said. Today we're going to use, well, let's get started first. I'm going to use rice. So I already have some just minute rice over here steaming, so that's already going to be done. We'll go over some other things that you can put with this if you want to. Noodles, tortillas, really any of those. But this is really versatile. We're also going to make a little stir-fry sauce. You can buy one already pre-done, but this one is a homemade one because I already had all the ingredients in my pantry. So let's get started. Let's go over the veggies that we're going to use today. Some take longer to cook, so we're going to do the ones that take longer to cook first, and that'll be our broccoli and our onion. We're going to get our pan heated over here while we're chopping. I've already washed all your veggies. You want to make sure you wash your veggies real good. And I'm just using some canola oil here in our saute pan. Traditionally, you use a wok, but I don't have a wok, and you don't have to have one. You can just use like a large saute pan. I'm not for sure like the inch or the size, like, oh, that's the wrong burner. And then trying to figure out how to use this really fancy stove, but I'm doing it. We're going to turn that up on high heat, and we can adjust later if we need to. But that's just canola oil, and kind of get that hot because you want to start out hot. You want like crisp but tender on your veggies. You don't want to start them slow and like do some steaming. You really want to get in there and kind of get a brown on them. So we're going to start with, we're doing broccoli. And we're going to do a little bit of just white onion, or this is actually a yellow onion. And then we have some squash, which you may have growing in your garden if you have a garden here in Oklahoma. We're going to use a yellow and a zucchini. Then we're going to do a couple different colors of bell peppers. So this is like a real colorful dish. We're also going to use some carrots. Now these will take longer too, any of your root vegetables. So we're going to start with our vegetables that take longer to cook because they're a lot harder and they just take longer. So we're going to get those going first. And these, like we did in our chopping class before, here's my garbage bowl. You can use this, your leftover clippings for like your compost if you have that. Does any of y'all compost? I want to, but I just don't have enough time to like garden as much as I want to. So
it's too smelly.
When you have to go out there and you have to like turn it and stir it and everything like that. So. And you want everything to be about the same size. So when you're chopping, we're going to practice our chopping skills that we've learned before. I'm just going to take some of these harder stems off of this broccoli. And you could save these even if you really wanted to get adventurous and make like a veggie broth, or even put them in soup. I'm smelling the pan. I think it's ready for some broccoli, so better get some in there. And this is just one crown of broccoli. You'll hear that sizzling sound, which is good. Actually, it might be just a little bit too high, so I'm just going to turn my burner down just a couple. Maybe start out at, like my stove at home is a gas stove, and so it has like low, medium, high. I'm going to start out like a good medium, maybe medium to medium high. Actually, I'm going to get another bowl here. Because I'm going to cook all this in stages. So once this broccoli kind of gets to where I want it, I'm going to take it out. Next, we're just going to do this little onion. That was one full crown of broccoli, not a real big one. And then this is a small onion, so you can do as much as you want. If you don't like the onion, leave the onion out. I'm just picking what I have and what I like, what our family likes. Now you're going to do the onion next because it is also a longer cooking vegetable. You don't want a really hard piece of onion when you bite down into your stir fry. You want it to be pretty soft. I'm actually going to add just a little bit more oil. Probably want a good tablespoon. I don't think I added enough. Just kind of keep it moving. You don't want it to burn. All right, well, that's going. We'll add some carrots. So I'm just using baby carrots that we snack on. And I just cut those in half. And then maybe cut them in half again, so like quarter them. You can do them in like little rounds, really just any way that you want. But these are about the same size as my onion and our broccoli, so they'll cook about the same time. So I'm just gonna let these three things go together for just a couple more minutes. And you can definitely, if you're a slower chopper, have all your chopping done ahead of time. I always just kind of do it while I'm, working, but I have good timing and I've been cooking a long time, so I'm kind of doing my prep as I go. Let's see, let's do a couple more. I don't think we need all of these. I would say this is probably like a cup or like 3/4 of a cup of each vegetable. Some other veggies, some harder veggies you can use. You can use cabbage. Like instead of your broccoli. I wrote a few down here. Cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, any root veggies that you like, and also cabbage. And those you would all add in first. Just kind of keep that moving. And then let's see, next I think we'll work on these bell peppers. We want the sticker on there. Now with the bell pepper, I like to just cut them in half. And you could, I think I'm just going to use half of each, so it equals to one pepper. But I like the color. Anytime I use bell peppers, I like to use them with different colors, like in salads or any of these dishes that you're making. Are you guys all following along so far? It makes sense? All right, these are looking pretty good. They have some brown on them. The carrots kind of need to go just a little bit longer. I was going to take that off, but I think I'll let it stay just another minute. Let's see, I'm only going to use half of each. And I'm just going to do long strips. So they look like this. So I cut them in half. I took all the seeds and stuff out. And you could really get to trimming them good, but I'm just doing them pretty rough since we're just going to put them in a stir fry. Everything's going to cook together with the sauce. And this is really like a quick weeknight dinner or lunch. Too. You don't want to spend too much time. Everyone's hungry. I'm going to go ahead and throw those in. Let those go for a minute. Since the carrots need longer, I was going to do it in stages, but I think at this point I'm just going to throw it all in. If something looks like it's getting too brown or too soft, you can take it off. To me, I don't mind if the veggie is a little bit softer. Since those are all kind of harder, I'm going to let them go together for a little bit, and then we'll take them out and do our squash and mushrooms. So on our yellow squash, I'm going to leave the skin on, and I'm taking just the ends off. And I'm going to cut it down the middle. And you can take some of the seeds out if you want to. These are real small, and since this is fresh and in season, if it looks like they're big, tough seeds, you might get a spoon and kind of scoop those out. I'm just going to leave them in because I don't mind them. And I'm going to quarter this as well. So actually I'm going to do half of the squash, and we're going to do half of the zucchini too. Just make sure you get a zucchini and not a cucumber. They look a lot alike. And again, this one, since it's in season, it's a summer vegetable. The seeds in it are real tender, so you can use those too. And I think at this stage, I'm gonna go ahead and take these veggies out, put them in a bowl and set them aside. And they'll kind of continue to cook in the bowl, steam. Are you gonna be okay, stove? And then I'm gonna put a little towel over it. You can put a towel or you can put a plastic wrap, and I'm just gonna let them steam a little because those peppers kind of need a little more cooking. Before this gets too much hotter, I'm gonna put a little bit more oil in and get our squash and zucchini in.
I notice when I cook vegetables, they don't have a lot more water content to them. And sometimes they lose a lot of water, and then when I try to make a sauce with it, then it kind of dilutes my sauce.
Like this, we're making a sauce to go on top, like a stir-fry sauce. And so if you have like mushrooms, they have a lot of water in those. You can cut back your water in your sauce to make up for that. Or if you want the water to go away, you just keep cooking it. Like mushrooms, you can cook for a long time. I quartered these, and then I halved them, or I halved them and then halved them again, so I made quarters. So we're making like just little cubes. So I want everything to kind of be the same. Now these don't take any time at all to cook. These are real tender vegetables. Here's the garbage bowl. And I'm not seasoning any of this. I'm not putting any salt on any of these at this stage because we're going to make a pretty salty, flavorful sauce to go on. It has soy sauce, so we don't want it to be too salty. Now I've wiped these mushrooms off with any like big pieces of dirt. People always tell you not to put your mushrooms in water because it just soaks it up. I sometimes will rinse them like really quick, but you just don't want to soak your mushrooms in water because they're like a little sponge. They'll soak up any liquid that you put them in. So if you wash them, do it very, very quick. But I usually, like now, if you get them from the grocery store, they're always pretty clean. And then really with these, I'm just using white button mushrooms. Some of the other mushrooms, you really need to take this little stalk off. There's a little like hard piece. I'll go ahead and get that off, but you don't have to trim them too much. And then I'm just keeping them whole and just chopping them, not real thick, kind of even. You want to have giant chunks in there. So I give this a stir. And you want a pretty good temperature. You don't want this really to steam. You want to try to brown these. This is doing pretty good. A medium-high heat. If it's acting like it's getting too hot and the smoke detector is going off, you can just take it off the heat for a little while. Sometimes when you're cooking over high heat like that, it'll start smoking. So,
what oil are you using?
I'm using canola oil, which has a really high heat. Like if you did olive oil, it starts burning faster. Vegetable oil would be another good one that you could use. I wouldn't use butter here. Butter would burn. I'm just gonna add maybe one more big mushroom here. Okay. It looks really good in there. It smells like vegetables. All right, I think that's all the veggies. Get these out of the way. Now I'm going to chop a little garlic for our stir-fry sauce. I have a little recipe here for stir fry sauce, and this says we need 3 cloves of garlic. And these are just, they're not huge. You have like one gigantic one, and I'm taking the back of my knife and hitting the clove of garlic, just real carefully not to cut yourself. And then your skin will just pop right off. You don't want to take your skins off. Over there.
Is there a good best way of storing garlic?
Storing garlic? Garlic, really, if you just, I have a little dish in my kitchen. It's actually just like a big cappuccino mug in my kitchen. And I keep it in there, and it lasts a long time. I keep it out of the sun. It will start growing. If it's been in there a long time, it'll start sprouting. So
Do you refrigerate it, or?
you can put it in the refrigerator. Yeah, I just leave mine out on the counter. I use it pretty often though. But yeah, you could definitely do that. They also have garlic already chopped up in a jar, and you can use that too. To me, it's not, the flavor is just a little bit different. I would rather buy like cloves of garlic and do it myself. But that's definitely an easy hack for sure. And it's, it's the same thing.
Is there any vegetable that should not?
I'm just putting that in my garbage bowl. We want that in our dressing bowl.
Is there any vegetable that should not be stored in the refrigerator?
That can't be stored in the refrigerator? I don't think so. Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I store like potatoes out of the fridge, like zucchini and broccoli, onions. I have like a little shelf in my kitchen that I have like potatoes, and I'm gonna throw all this back together, you guys. I store potatoes and onions. But if I go to the store and I bring home my produce, a lot of it goes in the fridge. Pretty much all of this would, except for the onion, I would store in the fridge. Now I'm going to turn this way down because it's pretty much ready for sauce, and I don't really want it to cook anymore. I'm going to turn it down to keep it warm. Now this is a couple cloves of garlic. I have 3, which I threw 1 in there, so we're down to 2. And then we're going to need 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce. Now this is going to make probably more than we need, but you can store this in a little airtight bowl in the fridge, and it'll last for a while. So then if next time you make stir fry, it'll be ready. And all you'll have to do is get it out of the fridge. You can probably whisk it together. You won't have to do that step. And we're going to do a couple tablespoons of brown sugar in here. I just added 1/4 cup of soy sauce. And then I'm not using a measuring spoon. I'm just putting a couple of heaping tablespoons of sugar in there. To me, you can't have enough sugar really. Makes it all good. See, are we needing any salt here? I don't even know why I got salt out. I'm not even using any. I'm going to do a little bit of vinegar, like a teaspoon. And I'm just going to eyeball it. You can get your little spoon out. This is about a teaspoon. I'd probably do about half of one of these.
Is it regular vinegar?
This is rice vinegar. There you go. And I am just going to put a little oil. This calls for sesame oil, but I didn't have any sesame oil. So I'm just going to use just a little bit of our canola oil that we're already using. And it wanted a teaspoon. And we already have oil, in our veggies too, so. And then we're going to add a little water. Like a 1/4 cup. And if your veggies were watery, you could cut back the water. Now I'm going to stir all that together. And I'm going to add cornstarch. This is going to thicken your sauce. And it'll kind of give it that luscious, not watery stir fry, where it kind of makes everything just all come together. I use cornstarch in soups. stews. And this is wanting a tablespoon. So I'm going to put a couple of teaspoons in there. A tablespoon is 3 teaspoons. This is a little bigger though. I'm going to move over and I'm going to whisk this all together. You could add meat to this. Chicken, beef, pork. You could add shrimp, which would be really good. If I was adding meat, I would probably go ahead and cook your meat first if you were using beef or chicken. Shrimp you could really put in here at the end because it doesn't take any time. You could also add tofu if you wanted to keep it vegetarian. We could top it with a lot of different things too. Also some veggies you could use: asparagus, green beans, snow peas, bok choy is really good in this. These are what I have on hand most of the time. Now, I don't know how much of this I'm going to use. I'm just going to pour some on top here. Actually, I think this is going to take all of it. I thought I'd have some left, but I'm not going to. Now, I'm going to go ahead and kick this heat back up again, since we're pretty much ready for that. Because you want that sauce to come to a boil. Since you have that cornstarch in there, you want to kind of cook that out and then just let this boil and get real thick, and it'll be ready to eat. Let's see. And I already hear it. Since I've learned to use this stove, it's really awesome now. It boiled water in like 3 seconds or something. It was about 2 minutes, or maybe not even that long. And this happens pretty quickly. Already the veggies are all coming together after we added that sauce, that cornstarch in there. Smells really good too. And see, we haven't added any salt because we used that soy sauce, which is really, really salty. And make sure I haven't forgotten anything in here. I think we got everything in here. I'm going to go ahead and kick this off. Really good. And I'm going to go ahead and start this up. Show you how we do it. We have white rice at our house a lot. Rosie, my little girl, you may have seen, like, what was it, last 2 weeks ago at the cupcake class? She eats rice like almost every day. She's such a picky eater. And so you just put your bed down. Now you could do rice, you could do noodles, zoodles, which is like zucchini noodles, maybe really have a ton of veg in there. You could put this on a bed of spinach. I wanted to keep it extra healthy, or make it almost like a salad. What else could you serve? Oh, you could, yeah, like I said when we first started, you could put it in a tortilla. Make like a little stir-fry burrito. Get some of those peppers in there too.
You could put the leftovers of stir fry like you can make an omelet and use it as a
Put it in eggs, yeah, make an omelet out of it. You could do a lot with it. You could add like water chestnuts, like a can of those would be really, really good in that. Or bean sprouts, it smells really good. I'm gonna use, which is a little bit untraditional, I saw that I was looking up recipes, different ideas, and they, said put sesame seeds. Well, I use this everything bagel seasoning. And there's sesame seeds, there's like dried onions, there's poppy seeds, and I'm like, that would be awesome on top. But also some other suggestions are like slivered almonds. You could do cashews, peanuts, a drizzle of sriracha over the top. You'd be ready to go. You guys have any questions about it or any other ideas? Are y'all ready to eat? I am. Come try it. Come try it, Kayla. Are we through? I think that's all. Let's see how easy and quick this is, you guys. It's so quick.
Yeah.
And it's healthy, versatile.
Mm.
And you want your veggies, crisp, but they're cooked. You don't want, they're not soggy.
Yeah. It's really good.
And the bagel seasoning on top.
I think that's one of the things to just get used to is the timing of what vegetables take the longest amount of time to cook.
Yeah, like I did the broccoli and the onion first, and let those go since they're a little harder. And then, you just take them out as they get cooked and then add your other ones. We did our mushrooms and our zucchini at the end
So
because they don't take any time at all to cook.
It'd be a mistake to have it where you just toss them all in at one time.
You could, but your mushrooms and your zucchini would just wither away to nothing. Another thing good, like chives on top or green onion. I planned to bring some green onion, but I ran off and forgot it. But that would be good to add a little fresh at the end.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Dusty, for that wonderful presentation. It's really yummy.
Yummy. And you're eating your veggies?
Yeah.
Thank you.